everyone, I am Miss Ting. So today we are going to learn Form 5 Chapter 5 Probability Distribution. So for today's lesson, we mainly focus on binomial distribution parts. This section contains two very important topics that you need to learn. Let's start with the first one, okay? So as you can see, here is a formula. Okay, here's a formula. The formula shows us how to find a probability. First and foremost, you must understand the meaning of this formula. Okay, what is the meaning of each unknown represent? Okay, for the first N means the total number of trial. Okay, and for the R means the requirement. Requirement means represent the number what we are looking for. Okay, so for the P is the probability of success, and Q is the probability of fail. Alright, now we just have a general understanding. Let's move on to the questions so that I can teach you how you can apply to the questions. Now first, in a school with a population of 850 students, 60% of them stay at the school hostel. Okay, we need to pay close attention here. Whenever a percentage is given, okay, a percentage is always represent a probability. Percentage is always represent a probability. So in this case, for the 60% of them stay hostel means the probability of the student who stay at a hostel is 60 over 100. Or you can write in a decimal form 0.6. Both are fine. And next, if 10 students are selected at random from the school, find the probability 8 of them stay at the hostel. So you can highlight 60% stay at the school hostel. Once we know that the probability of a student staying in the school hostel is 0.6, that means P is equal to 0.6, right? So we can determine the probability of not staying in the school hotel. That means the probability of failure is 0.4. Okay, 0.4. Why? Remember, in the probability, the total must always equal to 1. Okay, so once you have P, that means you can naturally find the Q value. Alright, let's move on. So, if 10 students are selected at random from the school, this part is very important. It means that yes, our school have 850 students, but in this problem, we are making an estimate based on every group of 10 students. So within each group of 10 students, you need to calculate the probability of 8 of them stay at the school hostel. So it's not asking you to calculate all the 850 students. Instead, it's about the estimating based on a group of 10 students. So therefore, here N will be equal to 10. Alright, so and what we are trying to find, we are finding the probability exactly 8 of them stay at the school hotel, right? So R will be equal to 8 because R is a number what we are looking for. And now we have all the information, so you can start calculating. Okay, so we can write down here P equal to out of 10 students, we need to find out the probability of 8. So 10 choose 8, 10 C 8. So for the next to it, we put the probability that the question wants. Because here, the question want we to find out 8 of them stay at the school hostel, right? So here we put the probability of stays at the school hotel because it is the probability of success. So which is 0.6. And power of the number of students who stay at the hostel. So 8 students, so we power of 8. And then next to it, we put the opposite probability, means the probability of failure. Okay, so not staying at the school hotel is 0.4, right? So we put here 0.4 and power to the number of students who are not staying. There is 10 students in total, 8 of them stay at the hostel. That means 2 of them do not stay there. Okay, so we power of 2. And then we can calculate the result. And then you can get the result 0.1209. So that's it, the final answer. Alright, so for the second part you need to learn in this topic is involve three things. That is mean, variance, and standard deviation. Okay, for the mean, we will use the formula n times p. For the variance, we use the formula m times p and q. And for the standard deviation is square root npq. Guys, please remember, in the examination, these three formulas are not provided on your formula sheet. Okay, so you have to memorize by yourself. How do we use that? So let's use the same example as before. In a school with a population of 850 students, 60 of them stay at the school hostel. Find the mean, variance, and standard deviation. Here, we know that a total number of student in the school is 850, right? So in the question previously, we didn't use the number of 850, right? But now we are finding the mean. You're finding the mean, variance, and standard deviation for the entire school. So we will use this total number. Alright? And so for the total number is equal to 850 and equal to 850. 60% of them stay at the school hostel. So as we said before, any percentage given is represent a probability. So here probability will be 0.6. So we can also find the Q equal to 0.4, right? Once we know all the information, so we can continue to calculate them. So for the mean, how do we find the mean? The mean will be n times p. So n is 850 times 0.6. So the answer will be 510. Okay, so variance, we are going to use the formula NPQ. So we can write down here n 850 times 0.6 and 0.4. So the answer we get is 204. And for the last is standard deviation. So standard deviation, we just put a square root at the front. NPQ, square root NPQ. So square root 850 times 0.6 and 0.4. So the answer we get is 14.28. So that's all. So we are going to practice two more questions. So let's look at these questions. The probability that an egg picked at random is rotten is 0.15. So here the questions has already told probability of the egg is rotten. So the probability is 0.15. This is a probability of success. As you can see, once we know P, then we can naturally find Q, right? So how do we find Q? We use 1 minus 0.15. So we get 0.85. If a sample of 10 eggs is chosen at random, find the probability that 3 eggs of samples chosen are rotten. So now here you can see n will be equal to 10. N is a total number of the eggs, so n will be equal to 10. And the requirement would be 3. We can know that R will be equal to 3 because R will be the number that what we are looking for. So R will be equal to 3. So now you can put all the information and apply to the formula. So probability would be 10 choose 3. Because of the question he asked is 3 eggs of the sample chosen are rotten, right? So next to it, we need to put the probability of rotten. Okay, so it's 0.15 and power of the number of eggs which are rotten. So it's power of 3, right? And next to the formula, we need to write down the probability of failure. That means it's 0.85 and power to the 7. If you find the correct answer, that the correction will be 0.1298. Okay, Now, let's move on to the next questions. So now, what are the information that this question will be given, which is 5% of a batch of components produced by the machine are defective. A random sample of 60 components is taken. So here, as we can see, 5%. Okay, as we said before, percent, which is represent the probability, right? So probability equal to 5 over 100. But you can also write in a decimal form, which is 0.05. Both are fine. After we know the P equal to 0.05, so we naturally will know the Q will be 0.95. And here 60 component is taken, means these are the total number. And find the mean of the number of defective component in the sample, and secondly, the variance of the number of defective component on the sample. So for the questions number 8, questions ask to find mean. So we use the formula N times P. Alright, so N will be 60 times 0.05. So the answer will get 3. And for the second, variance. Okay, so for the variance, we will use the formula of NPQ. So 60 times 0.05 times 0.95. So for the answer will be 2.85. So this is a part of binomial distribution. That's all for today. See you next time.